What's a coffee liqueur? Hello and welcome to Intoxicated Masculinity. If it's Wednesday, we have a cocktail video coming at you today. Even though it is no longer January, we are going to continue talking about coffee. This video and next week's video are going to be kind of linked because what we are going to do today is taste a bunch of coffee liqueurs. And then next week, we are going to use that coffee liqueur, the one we like the best, to make an espresso martini, and then compare that espresso martini to a bunch of pre-made espresso martinis, which I think we're pretty familiar with on this channel. In this case, we are not going to go super deep into these. I feel like these are liqueurs. We're not looking for sort of complexity of flavor. We're looking for, does this taste like a good coffee liqueur? And I don't think that requires super deep dive. So we have 10 altogether. We are going to do 5, and then we're going to do another 5, and we're going to rank them, or at least tell you which one our favorite is. Then, whichever one we like the most, we are going to use to make our espresso martini for next week compared to the pre-made espresso martinis. But I think that's enough introduction. Let's start drinking incredibly sugary beverages and hopefully not pass out into a sugar coma. Okay, we're back, and we are surrounded by sugar. I mean, drinks. So again, we have our first 5 here, then we're going to go into our second 5, but let's start off with numero uno. These are blinded, so we don't know which one is which. Let's dive right in, I guess.
Did you blind them?
I am blind. I think the flavor is good, but there's like a little bit of astringency there. Like it's not bad.
Maybe a hint. Nutty.
What is that?
It's nutty. It's like hazelnut.
Yeah, maybe that's it.
It's nutty or maybe pecan. Or pecan.
I think this is one of those ones. So I talked last week about I can like something, while at the same time maybe thinking it's not great in a cocktail, where you're sort of trying to isolate an ingredient. This one for me, not to spoil because we got a bunch of these to go through, I don't think this would probably be good in an espresso martini.
Honestly, like right as you swallow it, like right when that coffee flavor is supposed to be hitting, it's unpleasant. It does not.
Yeah, I think I agree with that.
It's like it's hiding a flavor.
I don't think it's incredibly unpleasant. Which, by the way, you can put that on the packaging there. Not entirely unpleasant. But yeah, no, I get that. I get it's kind of, yeah. All right, we'll move on to our numero 2. Sorry, I can only count to 1 in Spanish. That's better. That's a lot better, actually. Because it's sweetened, but you also get the coffee bitterness, which is, I mean, if you don't like bitter coffee, then first of all, why are you drinking coffee?
And almost orange.
A little bit, maybe a little citrus, yeah. That's pretty good. I like that quite a bit, actually. Yeah, it tastes like a coffee. It tastes like just kind of a sweetened coffee. Yeah, that's pretty good. It's got a good finish too. Like it has that kind of coffee-y finish. I like that.
It's definitely better than the first one.
Yeah, definitely. Honestly though, I don't think the first one was terrible. I think there is some unpleasant.
It's not terrible. I just like there was a little thing there at the end that caught me, and I was like, "Yeah, no."
It's kind of doing something different. And again, there are a few on here on this list that are not specifically speaking coffee liqueurs, but I included them because I bought them and I have to use them in something. And maybe tax write-off someday. So, number 3.
So good on the nose.
Man, this versus the first one.
Tons of vanilla.
Yeah, a lot of vanilla. So when I was tasting some of the creme de cacao last week, there was one where I said I like this one better, but I don't think it's going to work as well in a cocktail. I think I like this one maybe the best of all three of these, but there is a certain subtlety to it.
It's like the flavor of, remember those old cake cones you could get for making ice cream cones at home?
Mm.
That's what it tastes like to me. Like one of those kind of hint of vanilla, kind of sugar wafer kind of flavor.
I think what I would say is this tastes like coffee. This tastes more like kind of like a latte.
Yeah.
I think, and again, it's sort of mirroring last week. So far between these two, I think I would use number 2 in a cocktail, but if I was just having one over ice, I would probably have number 3. Shall we move on to number 4?
We shall.
Thank you, sir.
Water.
Water.
Let's keep it professional here.
Always. Always.
We are a highly accredited YouTube channel.
Sure, those are all words that are real.
My mouth makes words.
Mine too. Let's drink more. I can feel my body sort of going into sugar shock at the moment. We've only got 6 more after this to go, so we should be fine.
The sugar shock.
Professional. Professional. It's pretty good too. There's just a little weird thing kind of at the end. It's like almost like a... I can't quite place it. I was gonna say cherry, that's not really right. I don't know, I feel like right at the end
Well,
there's...
like on the nose, it's kind of woody.
Oh yeah, on the nose, it is very woody on the nose.
And I'm wondering if
You, by the way, can probably actually see which ones we're tasting, but we don't know. That definitely isn't going to be the one I would use. But
there's something at the tail end of it, yeah, that's kind of astringent.
yeah, so for me, so far for me, 2 and 3 are the best. 1 is kind of off, and this one's kind of off too.
I don't know. I'm gonna set you up here.
Always.
Wait a minute.
Yes. Oh my God. I almost forgot to drink water. Can you imagine?
All right.
Okay. What's going on there? I feel like you
There's
tasted...
chocolate.
Yeah, I guess maybe that is chocolate. It's not good
But
chocolate.
it's chocolate mixed with something.
I don't know.
Or maybe it could be. You definitely get the cocoa on the nose.
I don't really like that. No, I think that tastes more chocolate than does coffee, actually.
Yeah, I would say that's... I don't know what that other thing is, but it's not chocolate. And they shouldn't have mixed it in there.
Yeah, I don't know. This one... That one might be my least favorite, actually. So far in this one, my vote would be number 2 to use in a cocktail, number 3 to put over ice. What do you think?
I would agree that number 2 should be your cocktail. 3 and 4 are pretty close.
Yeah, I didn't dislike 4 too much.
I think I might go 4.
Well, in this case, the over ice isn't really a factor. We really want to focus on what we're going to use in the espresso martini. So I think we kind of both agree. Number 2 is kind of our pick from this one to use in that. I really like number 3 quite a bit, just kind of on its own. But I don't know if it's going to have kind of the heft to put in a cocktail. I mean, especially with the espresso martini, we're only using a half an ounce of coffee liqueur, so it really does have to do a lot for what it's doing. And I think the 3 might not quite have the punch for it. But we are going to reset and get 5 more very sugary liqueurs that we are going to taste. And that should be perfectly fine. Okay, we're back with more liqueurs. They're good, but man, tasting liqueurs is just, it's a lot of sugar.
This one's not even moving.
It's just
It's a gel.
It's jello. Coffee jello. Don't use that. All right. Wait a minute, is that blueberry?
Maybe.
That is very thick. So this one would never go on my list as one I would have on like Over the Rocks or anything like that, because that is incredibly sweet.
It does kind of taste like chocolate-covered blueberries.
That's so weird. Why?
I mean, if you're gonna sit by it, if you're into really sweet stuff, then I would say yes, try this. It's definitely a dessert type.
Nobody is going to have this and be like, that's not quite sweet enough. Because that is mostly sugar, I think.
Well, you could always cut it with something too. I mean, put something in there that's not nearly as sweet.
Or you could just start with something that's sweet. All right, let's try number 2.
That's the joy of making a cocktail, though, Mike.
I wouldn't know anything about that. Yeah, that is, oh God, that is so sweet. By the way, one of these, and this will be interesting to see when we go back through this, one of these is one that I actually use in my espresso martinis on a regular basis. Well, 2 of them actually. So it'll be very interesting to come back and see if the one that I actually use all the time is the one that I hated. But we'll see. The one thing I should say about that, as oversweetened as this is, using a half an ounce of this in an espresso martini probably wouldn't hurt it too much, I don't think. Because again, we're not used to having liqueurs just as a sipping thing. It's not really what they're made for. They're meant to be mixed in with things. But, shall we move on to number 2 or number 7, depending on how you are listing these. Is that like cola?
Woody, nutty, maybe. I mean, you could probably get cola out of that.
That's not bad.
It is like cola.
A little bit, but that's a solid coffee flavor. It's sweet. It's not nearly as sweet as this, thank God. But I don't think anything is as sweet as this.
It's like someone turned coffee into syrup for making pop or soda, however you want to say it.
Yeah, cola's a flavor I actually get quite a bit, and I don't know whether it's just maybe the way what my palate is or whatever. It's got a pretty rich flavor to it.
I mean, you could put that next to a bottle of Coke that's been set out and flat, and it would almost taste the same.
They're not probably going to use that in their marketing campaign.
Why not?
Tastes just like flat cola.
It tastes like sugary coffee.
But I mean, it's a coffee liqueur, so it's supposed to taste like a sugary coffee.
I meant Coke.
Sugary Coke. Well, I mean, Coke is sugary. Pretty similar nose to the other one. It's similar to the other one, I think. I think it's similar to this one.
This one's... I'm getting a little wood on the nose, and I'm getting kind of a nuttiness and a little vanilla. It's a little more.
Oh yeah, definitely vanilla.
It's
definitely
a little
vanilla.
more pronounced than the second one there.
Yeah.
The seventh one.
I think given that, I would probably go with number 2, because when I'm using this in a cocktail, I want to get a very solid coffee, sweetened coffee flavor to add in, and I don't necessarily want to add in a lot of other notes. Yeah, I think
That I would prefer flavor by itself.
Yeah, I think so.
Over the second one.
But I think for the cocktail, I would go number 2. But
yeah, it's easier. It's keep it simple, stupid.
All right, number 4 or number 9, depending on your perspective. Whoa, that is like coffee. That is just coffee. I mean, it is just really, really...
Like when you just open the bag.
Yeah, that is solid coffee.
Shake the beans up.
The palate is not as strongly coffee as the nose, but it's still pretty strongly coffee.
It's not super sweet.
No, this is my front runner, I think, right now. I like that quite a bit. Nose is great. The nose it's a dynamite nose.
This I can sip on all day.
Yeah, it's sort of funny. We've been talking about the idea that some things are more sippable and some things are more good in a cocktail. I feel like that would be good as either one. Because it's bringing the solid coffee flavor, but it's got kind of a nice understated flavor. Yeah, I like that one a lot.
For the cocktail, I'm going to stay with number 2, though. I think that would be a waste to just throw it into a cocktail.
I think it's only using a half an ounce of it, though. Oh. Wait, what is that?
It tastes like water.
So it's not an unpleasant nose, but it is definitely a different nose. Knowing which these are...
It was kind of like the first one again.
I mean, it doesn't really smell like coffee, like at all. Okay, the mouthfeel is syrup. However, on the palate, I don't feel like it's nearly as sweet as this. It feels like it would be because it has that real thick kind of a mouthfeel to it. It's also got like, is that like a mint? Like a little bit of mint on it? There's like a little bit of sharpness kind of on the end that I can't quite place.
Honestly, I'll tell you what it reminds me of. Dr. Pepper.
I don't really drink soda anymore, so I can't sort of relate to that, but it's... I don't think it's
like
bad.
Dr. Pepper to me.
I don't think it's bad. But it's not just straight coffee. It is... I think that's a little bit of... Again, it almost tastes like a hint of mint. That rhymes. Or like...
It's the pep.
Just a little something right at the end that's... I think doesn't taste bad, but I don't think I want in my espresso martini. So... I think for me, it's going to be number 4 for the cocktail. And I think it's going to be probably number 4 for the to drink on its own too.
Number 2 cocktail, number 4 on your own.
Okay. Just so we're not going to do like brackets or anything, but I do think we should compare our number 1 from this one, number 1 from the other one. So we're going to come back and we're just going to taste. I think we had number 2 for our last one, and our your number 2, and me my number 2 and number 4, and just kind of see which ones we like, and then we will give our roundup and we will reveal which one was which, and then we'll come back next week and taste some stuff up. So we'll be right back. Okay, we are back, and we got our top two. For me, it is number 2 from the first round, and number 4 from the second round. For Kayla, it is number 2 from the first round, and number 2 from the second round. So let's go back to our first number 2.
No unintended.
Cutting that out. Yeah, it's pretty good. It's cola ear than I remember.
It's pretty basic.
But I mean, basic isn't necessarily a bad thing in this case.
I know. Your argument in the second round was that you don't want it to be too complex.
Right, especially, I mean, we're making an espresso martini. An espresso martini is, by design, a very simple cocktail that is basically just bringing those nice coffee flavors while being just properly sweetened, and that's about it. All right. My number 4, your number 2. This isn't close, to be honest.
Yeah, this is above. Yeah. So you're number 4 and my second 2, I think.
Yeah. Now, off camera, we will decide, because I don't want to use 2 separate liqueurs when we make our espresso martini next week, so we'll pick one of these 2. But these 2 are sort of roughly equal, I think.
So what you're going to say is I'm going to end up agreeing with you.
I didn't say that. I mean, it might be what I'm going to do, but I didn't say that.
He's manipulating me.
The puppet master.
Oh, I'm being repressed.
But that being said, I am going to get the results, and we're going to go through what each one was. So, we'll go back in just one moment. So we're back. We pretty definitively picked the St. George's coffee liqueur out of the first round, although we did actually, see, I thought this was a different one, and I thought I didn't like it. It turns out we actually both really like this. So this is Luisa's Liqueur Coffee Caramel Pecan. That is from Nelson's Greenbrier Distillery down in Tennessee. The Mr. Black, I'm kind of surprised that didn't do better, because Mr. Black is one that people seem to like quite a bit. Just apparently not by us, at least not as much. So, first round, pretty definitively went to the St. George's Coffee Liqueur. So let's go ahead and take a look and see what the second round was. All right, we are back, and this is for the second round. And so for the first round, or for the first one, we have our Asheville Coffee Liqueur. This is from, I think, Ohio. Oh, this is, I'm sorry, it's North Carolina. Kale. Kale picked just regular old Kahlua, which of course I'm going to give him shit about, but on the same note, this is pretty much the standard coffee liqueur that everybody uses, and it is for a reason. And I liked it too. I didn't dislike it either.
He called me a basic bee.
It's true.
And did you point out that's from Brandon?
Oh, our friend Brandon gave this to us. He was actually going to be on here, but he was traveling, and so he couldn't be here this weekend. Next up, we have our Tia Maria Cold Brew, and the one that I got down in Little Rock. I really like this distillery. It's Rocktown Distilling, and yeah, it's a really good coffee liqueur. And finally, we have our different version of Kahlua. This is the Kahlua Vanilla, which is interesting too. But so next week we will make either a Kahlua espresso martini, which, by the way, and I sort of alluded to this earlier, this is the one I use my espresso martinis usually. It's usually either Kahlua or Mr. Black. So clearly I don't dislike this because I make it in my espresso martinis all the time. So we will use either the Kahlua or the Rocktown, and we will probably do a paper, rock, scissors to figure it out. But I think most of these are going to be fine. I think there was only a few of these that were actively something that I didn't like. And I think it was cool to see Rocktown come out and have a really, really nice coffee liqueur. And so next week we are going to use one of those to make our espresso martini, and we're going to test that against a bunch of pre-made espresso martinis that are chilling out currently. So on that bombshell, I want to thank everybody for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe. Have a good drink, and have a good day. Hello and welcome to Intoxicated Masculinity. If it's
Sorry, he was like about to walk out.